Hey, you guys, it's Hump Day. Oh my God, it's Hump. Whoops. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. It's Hump Day, guys. What's going on? Hope you all are doing well. This is Jason, and you're watching Ray of Light Tarot. Hope everyone's having a nice Wednesday. It is that time again, time to do our Hump Day live readings. So I'm going to be with you for the next little while doing Hump Day readings. I hope you guys are ready to buckle up because it's going to be a bumpy ride. I can tell you that for sure. I'm just kidding. It probably won't be bumpy, but it should be fun. So let's have a good time. Hope everyone's having a nice week. I know I am. Let's see. I'm going to be, the list is open. If you would like to get your name added to the list to get a mini reading, you are welcome to. We're doing $22.22 USD mini readings for Hump Day tonight, and I'm looking forward to it. Greetings, Sparky. Nice to see you. Hey, Nicole C. Hey, Deirdre. Nice to see you guys. Welcome. So let's get going with it. Oh, before I get started, I want to say big thank you to Darcy. Darcy, I just sent you your reading. Actually, Darcy is a client and friend who is in the Twin Soul class as well. And the reading that you bought on Sunday, I just did it today. Sometimes she wasn't able to be there for the broadcast Sunday, and so I've been meaning to get that done. I need a secretary, you guys. A secretary would be really good for somebody like me because my brain, I've got like ADD times 100. Yeah, the Cash App is open. It's $22.22 if you would like to get on the list to get a reading. It's $Ray of Light Tarot. I've got a couple people on the list, not many. I think there's two people because I just did the third. But I want to say a big thank you to Darcy. I got this birthday note and a registration in the star of a star named after our group for my birthday from Darcy. That was really sweet. She and a few people that are here tonight actually we're in our, I'm really glad to see you guys. Julene, Sparky, I missed you guys Sunday at the Twin Soul class. I was on there by myself for like 30 minutes waiting for anyone that we had literally no one in the class Sunday night. And I know it's my fault because I was out for the 2 weeks before that we got off track, but there was literally no one there Sunday night. I knew two people weren't going to be there, but there was no one there. I was like, okay. So I just pulled some cards, shuffled around, and did my thing. But I'm glad you guys are back. I missed you guys. Um, this is really sweet, though, Darcy. Thank you so much. So sweet. I know. I'm sorry. It was a tough couple of weeks. I had planned. I didn't plan to for us to have 2 weeks off because my trip. I should have planned it, but with my trip and the traveling, I didn't plan for us to be off for 2 weeks. But um, yeah, I thought you guys knew we were coming back Sunday night, so I don't know what happened. Okay, Stephanie. Yeah, thank you. Anyone who sent it to Cash App, I will get you added to the list. I do have you guys, Julene and actually Julene and Sparky. I have both of you on the list. I was in Zoom. Something happened. Really? This Sunday you were in the Zoom because nobody came in for like the whole. I was on for like 30 minutes from like 5 of 7 until almost 7:30. Well, I'm so sorry. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Maybe it was the wrong link. Were you there too, Sparky? Hmm. So, did you get my email? Did you guys get my email Sunday about for and with the link for Sunday, or did you go in on an old link? You know what's funny is I did see actually I saw in my email. I didn't see anything from Sparky, but I saw in my email it said that you came in, Julene, but that was right at 7. But when I went and looked, there was nobody there, and so I thought you must have just gone in and had to leave or something. So I didn't think anything of that, and then nobody came back in. We must have somehow gotten a different link or somehow. I did a reading Sunday afternoon on Zoom, but it shouldn't. I mean, it shouldn't have made any difference. I did get the email about you, Julene. You were the one person. I got an email that said you had been in the waiting room, but when I looked, you weren't there. So something must have been wrong. Yeah. I just assumed nobody came to class. I was like, I mean, there's only a few of us, but I was like, okay, I guess nobody could come tonight. And when I saw the email, I went and looked in my email, and I did have an email from another person. But when I saw the thing about you, I went back in and looked and waited. That's why I waited for a while, because I saw that it said something about you had been in or whatever, but I thought you had left. But I know I was on the link that I scheduled it on because I checked that. When I saw that you had been in and left, I checked that. So it wasn't that I was in the wrong thing. That wasn't what it was. I don't know. I'll find out. Zoom changed my meeting passcode. It did ask me to set a new passcode, but it was, I mean, that shouldn't matter for me. You know what I mean? I did have to. It's funny you say that, Nicole. I did have to set a new passcode Sunday for some reason, but it shouldn't have changed the actual access to the meetings for us both. And I sent them the link Sunday after I said it. You know what I mean? Hmm. Okay, well, we're definitely, just so everyone knows, we're definitely meeting Sunday at 7. So if anything goes wrong, we'll get in touch with each other. But we're definitely having a meeting this Sunday because there's a lot to do. I don't know. Okay, so Darcy is done. Next, Kathleen, Sparky, you're on the list. You're first on the list for tonight. I wonder if it has something to do with that passcode situation. That's super weird because it did cross my mind. That's funny because it did cross my mind for a second. Like, I wonder if if there's more people than just Julene that came in, and if they're like, they're in a waiting room somewhere and I can't see them. Because I was starting to wonder that because I kept looking and it said the only person that was there was me, was the host, and there was nobody in the waiting room. So I don't know. My bad, guys. I'm sorry. That doesn't surprise me though, Sparky. That doesn't surprise me that that happened with the communication thing. That's very common in this type of situation, especially with what happened the last reading I did for you. I remember even thinking while doing that reading, when you were saying some of the things that had happened recently, I was thinking, that person's probably primed for hiding and running. Like that felt like that was a likely outcome for that person for the near little while. You know what I mean? So that really doesn't surprise me. Okay, I know. I'm sorry to say that, but it definitely did. Thank you, universe. Thank you, source. Thank you, spirit. Thank you, angels, archangels, spirit guides, and ancestors for letting me connect. Thank you for the clear and direct messages. Archangels, Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. What's this Libra doing for Kathleen? What's this person? Dip. All right, so this is definitely them. We have the Divine Justice card coming out. Sage of Chalices. This person's growing a lot when it comes to their ability to communicate emotionally. There's a huge growth spurt here. So although it can be frustrating right now, Kathleen, what's going on as far as the running that happens, I know that can be frustrating. I really understand how frustrating that can be where someone is very, they have the capability to be emotionally open and emotionally intelligent, but then they shut down and run and they become that can be very frustrating. But I'm telling you, we've got Sage of Chalices and Adept of Chalices. This person is growing in their ability to be emotionally honest. They are growing. They're making positive headway, and that's for sure. That's not a maybe thing. This person is definitely growing in that way. And I would tell you, if I felt like you were over there wasting your time when I pulled cards for you, or that's what came through, you probably heard me tell people that and really begrudgingly, like, I don't like to tell people that, but I'll tell them. That is not what comes through for you ever with this person. It's always about holding, yes, holding space. It's always about the strength of the connection. I mean, that's come through every time I do a reading. There's never a, forget this person. You've got the Four of Flames and the current energy for the two of you. So that's a confirmation that although what you're experiencing may feel like, you two are not in a good place, you're moving through doorways. You're moving through spiritual doorways, even in what feels like a lack energy, even in what feels like, stagnation. You are moving through spiritual doorways. Now, there's a broken heart in the midst of this that's still trying to heal. It's not a current thing. It's not something that's just happened or been rebroken, but it's here. Thus the Three of Orbs. This energy of sadness that's constantly being resuscitated in the relationship, and it's the same thing that prompts this person to run after they've had a little bit of a little bit of a crack in the door. They'll run. It's that resuscitating of an old wound. It keeps getting resuscitated. It keeps getting brought back in here. There's a crossroads coming though, and it is permanent. There's not going to be this constant 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. The outcome card for you two is the Two of Flames. I mean, there's going to be choices here that have consequences, and I think already your Libra specifically, this reading is showing their energy. The Divine Justice card coming out first, so I think definitely and specifically your Libra is confirming to me that they understand and almost wonder if it's already a little bit, can't go back energy. They're not going to keep doing this. They understand, and I think this person is over themselves, kind of how you're over it. This person's over themselves. Like, they don't like the way they feel doing this sort of, hot, cold, what feels like a very hot and cold energy, because it's not what's really going on. But I don't want to share that. Sometimes I start to want to share something as an example, but I don't want to share it because it's too uncomfortable for me, like a memory of my own or something that happened to me when I was a kid. I can tell you, I understand the feeling that it's easier to just get away from someone than to feel all of the feelings you have because they just feel gross. Like feeling too much sometimes just feels ugh. And it's like gross. You just need to get away from it. And that's not okay. Like there's no excuse to being like that. Like there's no excuse for whatever makes us like that. I used to be like that when I was a lot younger. Not like that at all now, but I understand people who are like that because I used to be that way. And it's really difficult. You don't like being that way. You don't want to be that way. You don't want to be a douchebag, but it's just so much easier to be a douchebag than to sit in an energy with somebody who, yes, you do care about, but you actually care about them so much that it makes you kind of want to barf. And I know if you're not someone who has ever been like that, it's hard to understand people like that, right? That kind of doesn't make sense. But I'm sure there's how many people in here? 13 people in here. I'm sure of the 13 of you, at least one of you knows exactly what I mean. At least one of you has been like that at some point in your life. Maybe you're like that now where like, it's not about not caring. It's about not being able to stand the feeling of caring. It's weird, but that's what I feel. Jenny says yes. Okay, it's a thing. It's a thing. It literally used to make me want to throw up when somebody would tell me they loved me. Like when somebody would say to me, I love you, that I had an intimate connection with, it would literally make me want to puke all over them. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that super crazy, you guys? Like that's super crazy. But in these type of connections, I think I get that sometimes, that the runner feels that way. Yeah, and I know in my own connection, and I know sometimes the runner sometimes feels that way. They almost loathe you for being able to love them. It's very sad. It's very self-abusive in a sense, but there's a little bit of their self-hatred makes them hate you for a second because you're able to love them when they don't feel they're lovable. It's really sick. It's really, heavy stuff, but it's a reality, and it is what it is, right? That's going to change. You're coming upon a time where something is happening that's going to, and again, I don't know why, but the Four of Wands or the Four of Fire here says to me, You guys are moving through spiritual doorways. You're progressing, even though it may not always feel that way. And what happened the last time was progression, and it is healing. It is, yes, there is healing taking place here. This doesn't just represent their energy as a Libra. This also represents that divine justice is at play in this connection as we speak. It's happening, okay? But the Three of Orbs does sort of tell me that whether this person wants to or not, still and all, they sometimes get a little bit, throw up in their mouth a little bit when they think about love. Like they still do, you know? And that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate when we are like that. But it's it's a reality that it's kind of it's even more childish to deny that reality and not admit to it than it is to just say, yeah, I've been there sometimes too. I know what that feels like. It's stupid, but it's very real. How many of you ever what, anyway, let's move on. I don't want to get too much into it because I think it goes back to abuse and severe traumas that aren't even worth trying to look at right now, but it's a thing. I can remember that being that way going all the way back into my childhood. I can remember that feeling that way. Right, and that's what it is. It actually, that's the root of it, Kay, and whether it comes from trauma isn't really the question, because the trauma is a physical experience on this earth. What it ultimately comes from is the turning away from unconditional love. And it's not God's unconditional love, that's a double negative. Unconditional love is God. So it's just unconditional love, capital U, capital L. That is God. Yeah, the healing is happening for sure. It's just a weird it's a weird path to healing that sometimes we have to take because the the obvious path is just too obvious and it makes us want to puke. Julene, you're next. Julene is next. Okay, so I've got Julene. Hold on, I'm gonna read off the list real quick. I got Julene, Stephanie, and Nicole are the next three. Julene, Stephanie, and Nicole. That's all I have on the list right now. Julene, Stephanie, Nicole. If anyone else wants to get on the list, it is open. Hey, Rebecca, nice to see you. Julene, what's your question? That is perfectly fine, Jenny G. We all like to chat in here. I'm holding steady because I think I'm supposed to with my Aries, but I am in the dark. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. What's the current energy? Okay. Hmm. Six of Crystals, and I'm going to show you this card. It's an interesting card with this deck. Six of Crystals would be the Six of Pentacles in a traditional tarot deck. But it feels a little... It doesn't feel quite as light as the Six of Pentacles would when we talk about the balancing of the scales or, you know, finding a balance in relationship. This is specifically about this relationship. You know, you have to make peace with the fact that where you are, what you just described, that you're in the dark, that's kind of how this feels just as part of the journey right now, because the abundance card is here, the only major arcana that came out, and it is reversed. You know, that can feel, that's the Empress card, the abundance card. It's number 3 in the majors. That would correlate to the Empress card in the major arcana. So it's abundance. Well, if you think of the Empress card, how does that relate to abundance? Well, if we're talking about your feminine energy, and when the Empress is upright, she certainly feels abundant because she's able to be nurturing and kind and loving and so almost sort of that all-encompassing energy of that we were just talking about makes us sick sometimes, those of us who aren't healed. it's that, but with this, it's called abundance, and for you, it's in reverse. So that number one does represent that you, as the feminine in this journey and on this journey and in this relationship, you are feeling a little bit like something's off. And it's not just that you're in the dark about this connection, something feels off within you because you feel out of control and you don't know what to do to to regain a sense of control. Now, that first card that came out that I was going to show you, the Six of Crystals, Six of Pentacles, all, you've got the scales here. And this really speaks about the balancing between the physical and the spiritual. If you look at these scales, right? Or to put it much more in a way that really separates, it's talking really about the manifestation of, material things and the things which happen that are unseen or inside and mostly internal, sometimes external to us. So it's the effect, right? That transactional relationship between those two things. And sometimes it's sort of a reminder. Sometimes it requires like the balancing of those things. It requires more of us than we sort of thought we signed up for. The law of attraction is very real. It's very true. It's a true thing. But sometimes when we work to attract something to us, it makes it almost impossible. The process of getting from point A to point B makes it almost impossible to stay positive, grateful all the time because we become affected. There's no way to do anything but become affected by the other end of a scale or the other end of a seesaw. When two people are on a seesaw, you're either up or down. You're in movement or you're one or the other. So you have to stay in movement. Right now, you need to stay in movement. If you don't want to get too far down, you need to be in constant movement. There's a lack of cooperation in this connection right now, and it feels like that's not permanent. I mean, you've got the Two of Chalices here. Strong, everything. This is this Two of Cups, right? So everything you already know about the connection is true, but you've also got right beside it the Two of Orbs. So again, it's like a balancing going on here. Air, water, right? Those things they're trying to find their proper place. And air and water are not necessarily opposite each other if we were looking at like a wheel, right? But they are on separate sides. There's so much goodness coming here. I know it doesn't do anyone any good when you're in like the dark night of the soul to be able to see what's coming, because when you're in it, in the thick of it, it's all you need is like, you just need like, that's like telling somebody after surgery that in 6 weeks it's all going to be great. Well, yeah, I still need something for the pain right now. I just had surgery. I'm sure it will be great in 6 weeks. Like, I can hold up this Eight of Crystals card and tell you how great things are going and how good it's going to be, but you're still in pain right now and in the darkness, and you need something to medicate your pain. I don't have the answer for that. I'm hoping that what will help you enough is to know that there's good things being built here and they're coming. What you're doing right now, all I can tell you is if you're not an alcoholic, have a drink. Do what makes you feel better. Go meditate. In all seriousness, try something that you haven't tried yet. That's what I usually do when I'm feeling stuck or in the darkness. I would seriously suggest something like that, because sometimes it calls for something to keep you in movement. So salt baths, meditation, crystal healing, and so on, hypnosis, whatever works for you. You have to find the thing that works for you. Well, you're feeling it. You're feeling the darkness, and you're also feeling like you don't know what's happening. And so there's something happening here. And if he's in the dark night of the soul, then by de facto, by the nature of your connection, you're kind of in it too, right? Because you're not moving. If he's in the dark night of the soul, you're not moving. That means he's not moving and you're not moving either. You can't, something's got to get this thing going. The Eight of Crystals is good energy coming forward. This is like saying all the work you've put in is not going to be wasted. This is going to pay off, and it's going to pay off in a way that probably right now you can't even conceive of. It's almost hard to conceive it. What I would say is imagine your best possible outcomes you can think of in your mind for this connection, and then believe when I tell you, Spirit's saying it's actually going to be better than you think. Like, No, it's not going to be as good as you think it's going to work out. It's actually going to work out better. Like that's pretty awesome, and that's something to really try to clutch onto. All I can tell you is, based on this, there's a big struggle right now between the physical and the spiritual. And that's been going on already. I mean, this isn't really telling you anything new, if I recall the last reading I did for you. This is something you already kind of knew. The Three of Flames is in reverse. So why this is what I want you to understand is what's happening probably to your counterpart and not you is there's a lack of manifestation of reward. So this person is experiencing a lack of reward and manifesting reward, but the purpose for that is to help them to change and grow for the future, for what's coming. But the way they have to get to that growth and change is to experience a lack in reward. Kind of like our economy right now. Our economy is grinding to a halt, right? The American economy is grinding to a halt. And it's very kind of shocking for us because 6 months ago it was going pretty good. I mean, other than the national debt. But, you know, it was going pretty good, at least on the surface. And so now it's grinding to a halt. That's what's going on in this connection for your counterpart as far as things paying off like they should. And that may be in a material sense. We may be talking about money again. But there's something not paying off for this person where they thought they had a reward coming. It's the Three of Flames in reverse. So what's going to happen though is they're coming to, there's a recognition here in the Eight of Crystals that yes, simply just like the Eight of Pentacles, what you put the work into is paying off. It's like putting in the work, knowing the hard work is worth it. But in this deck, it's much more esoteric than that. This is about the recognition of what's truly important. It's really about the recognition of where the source of power really comes from for this person, where the source of abundance really comes from. There are deep recognition, like deep truths that I feel like are going to kind of be revealed here, but they come from a little bit of hardship. And you already kind of, I feel like we already kind of touched on this in the past, so you kind of already knew this was going to come. You kind of already knew, like, oh yeah, I'm kind of just reminding you, like, what you already know what they have to go through to get to the good stuff, to recognize what the good stuff really even is, and you know it's hardship. So don't get confused when just remind yourself to understand, oh, this is what's happening. It's that period of hardship, and it's coming. I mean, it's either coming or it's right here. It's that there's either an experiencing of it or a foreboding of it. I don't know how to tell the difference sometimes in the feelings that I like as an empath. I can't tell the difference of something that's here or that's almost here. But does it matter? Like it's either right here or he's foreboding and seeing it coming. So there is that stuff, right? And so that sucks and it's painful, but you knew that was what it was going to take for this person to come out the other side and really see the true crystals and where their power comes from and what they're worth, and instead of living under a false system, right? Everything's happening for all of us, micro and macro. In the real world, everyone's kind of going through the same thing. What's false money and what's real money, and what does it actually mean? And in our personal lives, we're also going through the same thing. What's real value or money or green or abundance, and what's false? All those things, and where do we figure it out, and where do we fall in between? All right. I think it was Nicole. No, hold on. Yeah, next is Stephanie. Yeah. So both of you are having birthdays this weekend? as for you, you are feeling this person quite a bit, Stephanie. Don't think too much about it. You're not experiencing this person's energy to try to make you understand something. It's not a message of any kind. It's just a reality, and it's a gift. And so don't try to figure it out, because you've got a great guidance card and a warning card. The guidance card is the Adepted Orbs. There is a lot of understanding for you to do with this person. You're going to get a better sense of where this person is based on what I'm seeing. Literally inside the orb is a knight. You're going to get a better sense of where that person is and what they're going through and where your timeline is together. All of that is here for you, and through experiencing their energy like that, you're going to get a better sense of all those things. However, you have the Nine of Orbs here, which is a warning against letting your thoughts become your worst enemy instead of your best friend. Don't try to figure things out too much. Guys, I have learned in doing this for a living now, I've learned the best way to get messages is not to try. The best way is, like, the difference between being totally connected and totally disconnected is a subtle it's a subtle place. It's a subtle click. It's not a far distance trying, getting there, it's just it's a subtle flick of your eyes from straight ahead to off to the right or off to the left. There's not a far distance to go to get a message. And so when we try hard and we overthink, it just ruins everything. Don't try. Let the message be whatever it is, and let it be nothing at all. Be okay with whatever you're feeling, and just let it unfold the way it's supposed to. That's one of the keys to the universe that will never fail you if you can work with that energy. You have the Strength card and also the Star card for not just you or your twin soul, but both of you, your current energy and where you're headed. You've also got the Eight of Flames. So again, that's a reminder. There's fast progress happening between the two of you, fast movement forward. And the best way to make it happen is not to try to make it happen. I love that you got two major arcanas coming out together, and they're both very different energies. One requires one requires a balancing of your own energies, and one implies to me a transformation in the relationship. And if those two things are happening at once, that's exciting. Usually you would see these two cards as very separate entities and experiences, and the fact that they're coming out side by side and I'm sort of seeing them together, it doesn't surprise me the Eight of Flames is there in the overall energy, because that represents fast forward movement. It's very exciting to see this. There's going to be a real fiery energy awakening as the result of this. Something that you two missed during the Lionsgate 8-8, something that you guys missed that was supposed to happen for you during Lionsgate is coming back around right now around your birthdays. There's like another opening or something happening, because I don't know what it is, but there was some opportunity for growth together that was missed. And this is the only time I've seen this to be true. When it's a twin soul connection or like a divine counterpart, you don't miss opportunities. You just don't, because if you do, they loop around. And they loop around until you both get it. Twin souls don't miss opportunities. So you don't need to, that doesn't need to be something in your consciousness or to worry about. That it just doesn't seem to happen. I mean, they may miss it the first time and it'll come right back and swoop around. There's something about, it's like there's no such thing as a missed opportunity for twin souls. It just doesn't exist, because it's reoccurring. So something was an opportunity on 8-8 or on or around 8-8, which is the Lionsgate. That's reoccurring for you guys this weekend, and it's going to be something that, again, you have a tendency to think too much about this with this card. This card is a tendency to think too much, to get overwhelmed, and to let the energies become your enemy instead of your friend, and you don't want to do that. So allow it to be your friend. Same thing as I was talking to Julene about. Focus on your acceptance of where you are and what works for you to keep you balanced. Lionsgate is it occurs on 8-8, and it's called the Lionsgate portal. It's an astrological thing. You might want to look it up. I can't explain to you why that's coming through as a message. It's just something that I feel looking at these cards that's really coming through strongly. So I would, and again, that's where we get, it doesn't really matter what it was, because the point, the message is telling you, the message that I see from this is more about that there won't be a missed opportunity. So don't worry. But it's probably, if you look back in your relationship, look around, if something happened or there was something that you can attach it to around August 8th of this year. And I think this is for your twin soul and not you, this part, but try not to focus too much on the past. The thing I see them doing that they need to watch out for is to not let you and your mental worried energy cause them to get off track. Because I was looking in that star card, and the person's looking back, and they were looking right back at the person overthinking, and it was causing them to get off track. So that's where you really got to be careful, because not only does your overthinking start to affect your energy affects the person you're connected to. So you got to really let go of whatever anything you're putting, anything you in your life you're doing too much of. Watching too many YouTube videos, whatever it is, you've got to stop and shift your focus to something else, or it will affect you and this person. You don't want that to happen, because there's beautiful energies happening here upright, right? These are great cards. Transformation, balancing, and then a really fast forward movement in that Eight of Fire. So it's all good stuff. It's just the only warning card is the Nine of Orbs. The Nine of Orbs is a warning card. So just be careful about the overthinking part. Okay, Nicole, you're next. What's your question, Nicole? Guys, the list is open if anyone wants to get on. I think Nicole is the last one on there. So after Nicole, I'm going to go, unless anyone else wants to get on the list. You're welcome, Stephanie. Anthony keeps coming to mind in my dreams. Is there something? Let's see. Yeah, 2222 is the reading price. And after Nicole, there's nobody. So if you want to get a reading in, get it now. Guidance. You have the Three of Chalices in the future position, so there's definitely some sort of emotional reunion type of energy happening here. I'm not sure exactly what that's about there for you guys, though. You also have the Sage of Orbs, which is some kind of meeting of the minds between the two of you. It could be some really good communication. The first card that came out is the Sage of Chalices, and also the Seeker of Chalices came out. So this is a little bit of a regression when it comes to emotional connectedness for the relationship, but this feels like it's past tense. So if you guys took a step back in the past or recent past emotionally in your connection, that seems to be definitely something that's going to be changing here with the Three of Cups or Three of Chalices. That, you know, that usually, and in this case, it feels like it to me like it's some sort of a reunion or definitely like an emotional connectedness. Let me pull out that guidance card so I can read that a little better in a second. Now you got a major too that I'm not really sure about it. It's the guidance card. I'm going to clarify it. There it goes. Master of Chalices. Okay, so this is definitely about the emotional connection between the two of you. Ten of Crystals. Something's going to shift in this connection that's going to be very long lasting. The Ten of Crystals is longevity and value, right? Ten of Crystals is about the value. I think Anthony may not have been valuing the connection, obviously, as much as you did in the past. And then you kind of did the same thing, at least energetically, like, well, if you're not going to value it, I'm not going to value it type of thing. There was kind of something, there was a step back in the recent past. Now there's all this fast energy moving forward toward like a reunion. You've got the guidance card. The guidance card is kind of interesting. It's like the Hierophant card. Um, to me, it represents, when I look at it in this deck, it represents, again, the obvious stuff, like it's an acknowledgement. Okay, Anne, I'll get you next. It's like an acknowledgement that where you are in this connection, where you've been, everything is happening sort of according to divine plan, and not to question that, but more than that, bigger than that, I think because it's coming out now, it's to remind you in the future tense, like as you go forward, remember that thought that you're going to have lessons where you're going to be able to teach other people because you are a teacher in certain ways based on your experiences. You're going to be able to, I feel like I see you telling someone in your life, and then this happened, and you're able to use these things as like really examples of why, you know, spiritual things are very real and valid, and you're able to teach with those experiences. So to keep your eyes open for those sort of miraculous moments in the near future that are going to bring these sort of almost unsuspecting and unexpected moments of reunion within this connection that are really beautiful. I mean, the outcome, guidance, the Master of Chalices, the 10 of Crystals. It's these are good outcome cards, but the guidance being that major arcana. Again, this would be the correlation of the Hierophant card. It feels like, if you just think of the Hierophant in general terms, it means, and this does as well, sort of tradition. You can look back and see the Sphinx in the background of this card. So monuments and things that are monumental. Again, I think this is for you, although it does represent great things in your connection with Anthony and great things happening. Obviously, that's sort of almost like a sideshow to the story here. The story really is about how these are going to be things you're going to be able to use as a teacher, as examples of how the mysterious ways in which source energy works and love works to heal us, to reunite us with our destiny, and to you know, keep us heading where we're supposed to be, and how what's for us will never miss out on what's for us. It will always happen one way or another. And so keep that in mind, that this is the real message of the whole reading. All of the stuff that I see about reunion and emotional connectivity, rebounding from a step backwards, is there, and it's good. But this is really what the message is about, which is much more esoteric and much more about destiny and learning and teaching, okay? And a lot of that coming out for you. It's all beautiful, though, so I would say it's probably okay to focus on both of those things. But ultimately good stuff. Okay, next is Anne. I got your Cash App, Anne. You're welcome, Nicole. Good luck. Keep me posted. Come in and keep me updated on what happens. Whoops. I'm knocking things over. I'm breaking things. You're welcome. First card come out, Four of Flames. Beautiful card. Great card for what you're asking about. The Four of Flames is the Four of Wands card. It's a great card that represents moving through a doorway, union, transition, growth, right? It's like going up another floor in an elevator. Let's see what else is coming out. Transition. Makes sense. Okay. Nine of Flames. Wow, so there's definitely something being completed here. Just in time, huh? The reunion card again. Adept of Chalices. Karma. Karma upright. Major Arcana. Karma upright. This is Judgment. And it's upright. Karma. So this is a beautiful card. And it's not the same as I mean, it is Judgment. It's the same card, right? It's the same card. It's under a different name. It's the same number, Major Arcana. But It is different when you think about it. It's karma upright. It's a lot more like the justice card than the judgment card, although it does correlate more to judgment. But it's judgment also because karma is judgment. Karma is your judgment coming to you, which is the same thing as justice. It just depends on your perspective on it. In this deck, this definitely is about your relationship because look, the first card, the Four of Flames. So we know that this represents a time of growth, of moving through, of transitioning. And that was the next card that comes out, the transition card, which is the death card, because that's what death is a transition. Now, the Nine of Flames is different in this deck, and this was interesting. This card is about completing. This person is completing something. For a long time, this person had all the candles lit but one, like on a cake. You can't get that. There's something not clicking. You know, there's just something off, and it was shutting everything down. It was shutting karma from coming in the way it needed to. It was shutting the Adept of Chalices energy, which is their card as the result of this. Adept of Chalices is beautiful. It's this huge wave right when it's about to break. The flow is resetting. Okay, that emotional flow is resetting, and that Three of Cups or Three of Chalices again is about the coming together or a reunion. That's a celebratory energy. Also, you have the Chariot at the bottom of the deck. That's forward movement in a sort of a fast way, and it's about love. For some reason, it's definitely, there's a lot of cards coming out that are representative. It's Cups energy, that emotional flow. New beginnings here. So I'd say where you guys are headed with you and your Cappy is they're learning to complete something very special that feels like a marathon to them. Something in their life that was difficult to complete up until this point. And with the completion of that thing, it allows this relationship to move to the next level and to experience a celebratory energy, a reunion, and a complete new cycle. Like, it's good karma causing the wave to break. So this is a wave that's been building for a long time. And think of what happens when you're watching a wave build before it breaks. There's a lot of anticipation. It's kind of like the calm before the storm. You don't really know what's going to happen. So if you've been in that energy with your Cappy where you're kind of like unsure of where things are headed and you're kind of waiting to see like where is this going to go, anticipatory, that type of thing, this is after that. This is the resolution to that. And based on the way the cards are coming out, it feels like it's a good resolution for you, for them, and for the relationship together. So I really like that. I especially like the transition card because that represents more your spiritual growth, your spiritual transformation. So it can be so easy. Here's the thing. It can be so easy when we're in a strong, connected relationship with somebody and getting that reward to sort of not pay as much attention to the spiritual aspects, but that's when you should be paying the most attention to the spiritual aspects because great things are happening here. There's great reward for that too, okay? I like it a lot. Great reward for that too, for sure. I've got 13 people and 13 likes when I looked up at the chat. 13 Mockingbird Lane. All right, guys, I think that's it for my readings. Did I have anyone else get on the list? I did not hear anyone else. I don't see anyone else. Has everyone gotten a reading that needed one? We are done for the night. You're welcome, and good luck to you and your Cappy. I'll see you guys again on Friday. And not a moment before. Hope everyone's having a nice week. I love you too, Jane. Nice to see you. Thank you for being here, Rebecca. Nice to see you. You guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Thank you, guys.